Welcome back here to First Reviews, and we're sitting with director Alex Lora of the short film The Masterpiece, which is the winner of this year's short film Grand Jury Prize at Sundance. This short film follows Leo and Diana, who are a wealthy couple that meet Salif and Yousef, who are two scrap dealers, and Diana invites them to their mansion, but soon it appears that Salif and Yousef are maybe the ones with something that they want. First of all, Alex, thank you for sitting with us today to talk about the short. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you very much, guys, to make the time to make this happen. We're excited. Thank you so much.
Of course. So I'd like to start by asking you to tell us a little about your filmmaking journey. When did this story come in, and what inspired your vision to telling it?
Yeah, of course. So this happened in 2023. I just finished to shoot my first narrative feature film, and it was a little bit of a tough experience dealing with big crew, a lot of pressure. So when I finished it, I just wanted to make something that could be like more relaxed and fun with friends. So I was looking for something to do, and then my friend Luis Quiles, who is a neighbor and also a filmmaker, had this idea. And then he already had a first draft written with Alfonso Amador, who is also a friend of mine. And then he said, maybe you're interested in this because it tackles some of the issues that you usually deal with in your filmography. So why don't you take a look? Mm-hmm. And I liked it. And when I was reading it, I kind of envisioned it. Of course, I thought that this first draft was like 30 pages, and I thought that for a short film that was too much. So I shrink it. I took out like 10 pages of the script, and I kind of imagined the short film like a game of chess, like with white pieces versus the black pieces, and then even that affected everything, the composition, the staging, looking for kind of compositions that would be symmetric in a way. You're looking like angles that would be either, square angles or 45 degrees. And so, the vision, I envision it like that, and then it worked. And given that, I wanted to create tensions, I imagine it this game of chess that goes, now it's my turn, now it's your turn. And there is always this ticking clock, like this clock that you want to press, so it's the other one's turn. So instead of having a clock, I thought that it would work with kind of African drums. And once, I put it together, I thought that the combination was good.
Yeah. How was it like casting these 4 adult actors that are, as you said, the integral chess players in the film?
It was a little bit difficult because, this is a short film, and at the end, everybody worked for free. We didn't have much budget, and even if we had like high expectations in regards of the casting, we wanted, like good actors, and even if, having some well-known actors then always helps you a little bit in the festival run. At the end, the reality is difficult because, the actors have their agendas and, so you have to adapt. But for the kids, for instance, I really wanted Adam Nuru, who won the Best New Actor. He was the first black guy who won for Best New Actor in Spain in 2021. So he lived in Paris, but I said, if you like the short film, I can fly you to Barcelona. We shoot it here. And he agreed. And for the rest, the production company helped a lot. I really like Daniel Grau and Melina Matthews. For me, was very important because I was very set on using, 3 languages or 4 languages in the short film besides Mandinga. I wanted, of course, Spanish, but I also thought that we should find an actress that could speak natively English and French, because for me that was important to show, besides being the language of colonialism, and it's about, class and race, I thought that, if you have this couple in Spain speaking, with one of them speaking English or French, you have an idea of who they are, and the class they belong and all these things. So, and it was complicated to find, an actress that would fit. But once we found Melina, we were super happy, and she made an amazing job. And with Babu, we met in person. We got along. I explained him about his character as a father of Yousef, and he liked it, and also was super generous. So it was great. And for the kid, I was hesitant to ask Daniel if his son was interested in acting, because you never know, and you don't want to create a kind of conflict but yeah, he was very, very nice and approach to his kid, and he said, I think he can do it. If you want, we can try, and if it doesn't work, I won't feel bad or anything, and it worked pretty well. Yeah.
That's nice. So obviously your characters start with this fragile comfortability within the space, and then eventually they start making decisions that not everyone watching would agree with. But how important is it for you to still put yourself in each one of the characters' shoes when you're bringing the story to life?
For me, it was very important because at the end, it's a matter to be honest with yourself. And I don't think saying that we don't have prejudices it's something that is real. At the end, my intention was to play that a little bit in the audience mind. Use the short film sometimes as a mirror, even for both sides, and see. See us, as who we truly are sometimes, that the conclusion is that we are all complex human beings, and the reality is not that simple. And sometimes, you might want to help, but at the end, maybe you are helping because you are helping yourself more than the other people. So that's something that we also have to accept. And, and I think there is a conversation, and it's thought-provoking, and something to, that was a little bit the idea.
Yeah. Was there a particularly challenging moment in the short to shoot? By the way, how long were you guys filming for?
We were filming for 4 days, and it was nice. I mean, we all had a lot of fun, and I really needed this experience. I don't think there was nothing complicated. I mean, the last shot, I remember with Luis, who is the producer and the one who had the original idea. He was very set on shooting this last shot with the car, and I didn't have anything against that shot. I really loved that shot, this idea. But in terms of the time we had, I kind of planned an alternative ending, which is also in the movie, which is the kid behind the glass, like in this kind of fish tank, seeing how the immigrants leave the house after witnessing, what happened. And for me, it was a way to say that the system might perpetuate itself, because the kid at the end is going to maybe do what the parents were doing, right? So for me, if the short film would have finished there, everything was fine. But, the cherry on top was the shot. But, and I really understand that was adding something. But on the other hand, I was saying like, okay, this is like a couple of hours, right? You have to find the right road. Something that we can go to the first position again. Communicate with the car that passes the other car. It has to be inside the frame, So it was a complicated shot and a challenge. And at the end, I'm very glad we did it, but we did it because they managed the way to get extra time, right? So, that was maybe the most challenging, to have these extra 2 hours to make this show happen.
Mm-hmm. And I like that shot with the kid that you mentioned, because it's symbolizing that he's still being shielded from these societal systems that he's probably about to be brought into and taught. I feel like ultimately there's so many different things coming together in this film, whether it's uh, social status, financial status, language barriers, ethnicity, immigration, but it all comes together in this idea of power. So what do you think is one of the big takeaways from the film about modern culture and power dynamics?
Yeah. At the end, for me, the masterpiece is not the painting. The masterpiece is the system that is being created. I don't know who created it, but it can be even perverse in a way. And I think it's getting old. It's a system that I don't know, that sometimes can be very tiring, right? And because at the end, and this is what happens with the immigrants, maybe gives us the idea that things can change and that you have a possibility to change your status. But the reality is that it's very difficult, because the system kind of shape people in order to want to keep their status, and they are not very open to welcome other people. So if you are in the middle class, the truth is that a very, very little percentage will go above that. Or if you are poor, you're gonna be maybe stuck in that position, even if the system tells you that things can change. No, I'm not very optimistic, and I think it's very difficult, and yeah, and at the end, whoever is in power wants to keep that position, right? And it's like nature in a way, right? That the one who is strongest, the strongest, they don't want things to change.
Yeah, you talked in conveying these themes of this being a chess game waiting to happen. You talked about the influence of the score and the symmetry. Could you elaborate on the visual and editing tools that you used to convey these themes?
Yeah, we were using an Alexa Mini, and the lenses were Cook. The software for editing it was Premiere. And then we made the color correction in DaVinci. So this was more or less the gear. I edited in a laptop, and with, nowadays you can do kind of productions that are professional. Let's put it that way, with gear that is accessible, right? And yeah, I mean, in terms of image, I was a little bit on top of Manel, who I think made a great job. But sometimes, a slightly thing can change a lot. For instance, for the shots of the house, I really wanted to go perpendicular to the wall. And he was like, "Yeah, but we are gonna see ourselves in the glasses, right? And then we have to make it happen, or don't worry about that, because I'll clear. Given that these are like shots in sticks, I will delete this. It won't be very difficult, but I really want to have these symmetries, because for me it was very important. Or the fact that when we were framing, sometimes we were having not arguments, but at the end everybody has their own vision, and I was like, no, I really want the actors to be almost by the end of the frame, and that's too much. No, because this creates a confrontation, and I want to create these unsettling moments with some kind of weirdness, and if we help this with the way we frame, it will be more powerful, right? But at the end, when you work with friends, it's all different. Sometimes when you don't know the people you are working with, it's more difficult, because trust is something that you cannot buy, right? You can get trust working with people or convincing them, and that takes a lot of talking. And sometimes in the production, there is no time for a lot of talking. So at the end, I understand that everybody is, wants to protect their own job, but as a director, you want that they protect the movie, right? And to give a consistency and have a vision, and everybody's lining up towards that vision, right? And that's a little bit your job as a director.
Yeah, when you're building relationships, you want to be able to trust that you can communicate even when someone has a certain job and they know a little better than you, that you're on the same page, and so on.
Right. Exactly.
So now you've had this great experience of screening the film at film festivals, most notably Sundance. Can you talk about this experience of having this so well received by audiences and the industry?
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of surreal, to be honest. I thought that I was done at Sundance because they selected my first short film in 2012. It was a documentary. Then in 2014, they selected a hybrid, half documentary, half narrative. So, and I was, super thankful. I remember that the first short film, especially the first short film they selected, it was kind of, a project that I made for the school, and then being at Sundance, it was a great experience. And the second time, I think they tried to help filmmakers. So in my case, I thought that they already helped me enough, and I would never go back to Sundance. I submitted a lot of films after that, even my feature documentaries, which, even one of them was produced. I mean, not produced, but they gave me the documentary grant. So we had some funds from the Sundance Institute to make that feature documentary. And that was not selected. So I had a lot of rejections after the last selection, and I thought that I would never, be selected again. And then I finished the short film. It was not completely finished, and I submitted it, and I didn't even think about reaching out to Mike Plant, because it was like 10 years since the last time we kind of talked, and I was already in a different state, like making feature films. So, but you have to submit it, right? And then it was very funny because he messaged me like a month and a half later saying, Alex, you forgot to add the English subtitles, I mean, good to talk to you after all this time, but I'm not going to learn Spanish at this time of my life.
One line.
So. Exactly. So I resubmitted thinking that, that if I had a chance, I lost it with this mistake. And then funny enough, it was selected, and it was something very emotional, like third time in Sundance, and after all these rejections, right? But what we didn't think for us, that was the prize, the award to being selected at Sundance. There were like 12,000 short films and 53 selections. So, the last thing we thought was about winning the Grand Jury Prize, right? And especially because, watching the other short films, I remember that there was a short film from Obama's daughter, and also Judy Foster's wife. So, yeah, you think, that at the end, who am I, or who is my team, right? So we don't have an expectation, and we could not believe it when it happened. And after that, the experience there was amazing. And after that, a lot of film festivals asked for the short film, and the reception has been very nice. I went to some of them this weekend. Actually, I was in Martha's Vineyard as well in this film festival. It's very nice. So I try to travel a little bit, but it's also difficult, with work, family, and, but it's been, so far, it's been an amazing experience. It's been 2 months since we premiere, and already has like 38 selections or something like that, and 9 awards. So in 2 months.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been very nice.
Well, I'm sure that after watching it, everyone can agree that the short film's earned its spot among beasts like Obama's daughter and Jodie Foster's wife. Do you remember where you were when they announced that you had won the award? Do they have a ceremony? Is it only for the press? Like, how do they usually do it at Sundance?
They have a ceremony. It's not a kind of a usual ceremony where everybody sits and stuff. I remember even, like 10 years ago, it happened in a bowling place. So it's kind of nice, they make it different. And for the short films, this time was a little bit more serious than in the past, if I can use the word serious, with the stage and all these things. And I was there with my friends and, the team, and there was some catering, but we were there standing and they were announcing, best international animation, best US animation, all the categories like that. And if we had a chance, I thought that we would have a chance as a best international short film. You always think like there are amazing short films. Right. So when they said best international short film and they announced another winner, for us, we were like, that's it, we're not going to win. And then there were still the best US short film and the Grand Jury Prize, right? So I was paying attention, but not that much, to be honest.
Like, just with my drink here.
Yes, exactly. Our chance passed, so let's enjoy the rest of the night, and I don't know who will win. So kind of disconnected. And that's why we didn't even react when they said the award. And we were also speaking in Spanish, so sometimes you change the language and you are not totally aware of what's happening around you, because when you are speaking one language and someone else is speaking in English, so they said like the masterpiece. And they said it a couple of times. And then, my friends were like, hey, we won. And it took us a little bit to react. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned Sundance holding a festival at a bowling alley. I remember hearing that the Oscar nominees luncheon this year was like at an Arby's or something. So it's funny when they do things like that. But last but not least,
I loved it.
Yeah. Well, last but not least, is there any sort of future insight we can hear about where people can see the masterpiece? Any more festivals that it's coming to in the near future?
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna actually screen in Aspen next week on the 2nd, and then it screens in Cleveland, which are both Oscar qualifying. We're very happy about that. And more festivals will come, and eventually we'll release it online. But I think right now we have to just protect it, because, once it's online, film festivals don't want it. And probably, by October, November, we'll see if we can. I know it's very difficult, but let's see if we can make an Oscars campaign and try to make it to the shortlist, and see what will happen with that.
That'd be very well deserved, and I'm really excited to see where that goes throughout the next year. So again, congratulations on all the success with the masterpiece, and I really hope that there's more to come. Alex, it's been great talking to you, and thank you very much for sitting with us and talking about the masterpiece.
Thank you, Val. It was my pleasure.